That's the right one. Good morning, everybody, and Happy New Year. We are getting back to normal, so we are now back in book number 15, Simple Songs. This is a level 3 class, which means that, yes, we're still trying to get our hands comfortable on the keys. I will start adding in extra chords. That means that they are 100% optional. You want to push yourself just a little bit and always learn one thing. If you can learn one thing every time you come to class, then you are 100% successful. I will always give you fingering, and we are going to start putting on the arranging, just taking this song and what can we put it on. Now, what I forgot to do, yep, I know, that's because we were doing Christmas stuff, is I forgot to put up the sheet, the worksheet. I usually put up the week before and the next week. So that's what I'm going to do today. I will put up my favorite things on Patreon, and I will also have Robert put on next week's, which is My Funny Valentine, so that if you want to download that and before class so you can take your notes on it, then you can have that there. So that's always a good thing. So what is my favorite things about? I think everybody knows this song. It's a show tune from the 1959 Rodgers and Hammerstein musical, The Sound of Music. In the original Broadway production, the song is introduced by Mary Martin playing Maria. And then, of course, Julie Andrews played Maria in the 1965 film version. The movie version song was number 64 on AFI's 100 Years, 100 Songs survey. Okay, this is also associated a lot with Christmas, even though it's not really a Christmas song, but because it talks about nice things, I think that's why it's always associated with Christmas, and it gets played a lot at Christmas. It is, of course, a waltz. We know that because it says 3/4. 3 beats to a measure, and the quarter note gets 1 count. So any waltz will actually work. Most of you will have it in your song setup. I personally think that it comes up a little fast. Yeah. I will play it at song setup, at least part of it, and then I'll show you what I think is a better tempo, easier to play, and probably a little bit easier to listen to as well. So it comes up on this organ at Modern Jazz Waltz at 165. Really? Seriously? That's a little bit fast. But we'll see what it sounds like. I'm going to play part of it just so you can get an idea. That's a little fast. Now, if you like it that fast, absolutely. Get your fingers going and have a great time with it. Personally, I think that's just a little fast. I actually preferred about 140. I think that's a little bit nicer. And if you have jazz waltz on your instrument, I think that's a little bit nicer waltz for that. And the intro is more of a signature intro for this song. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, listen to what this sounds like. I'll do the second ending. That's a little bit more the way I would like to hear it. It's a little slower. It's a little easier to listen to. It's still upbeat. Now, some people think that waltzes are slow. Waltzes are not always slow. This is an upbeat song, and there's a lot of songs that are in 3/4 time that are up-tempo songs. So yeah, don't just equate waltzes with slow, because it's not. It doesn't always work that way. All right, now let's talk a little bit about intro and ending. You know what? Before we do that, roadmap. Roadmap, get your markers out, because there is a little bit of a roadmap here. All right, follow the lyrics. It will always take you where you need to go. Raindrops on roses, whiskers on kittens, bright copper kettles, warm woolen mittens, brown paper packages tied up with strings. These are a few of my. Then you have that first ending, okay? And at the bottom of the page, you have 2 dots. I'm hearing funny noises. They're constructing a couple doors down. I hope that's what that is. Okay? I feel like I'm being invaded by aliens in here. There's some dots at the end of the page. That's the end of the first ending. Where do those go back to? If you don't see any dots facing forward, then you automatically have to assume that you are going all the way back to the beginning. And that, again, they didn't have to put it in because it saves ink. So where do you put your line? In between the 3/4 and the A quarter note. You're going all the way back to the beginning. Now you're going to pick up verse 2, your cream-colored ponies and your crisp apple strudels and stuff. And you're going to do the first 3 lines. Then you're going to do the first 2 measures of the last line on that page. You're going to skip the first ending. So here's what I do. I take a little marker and I put a colorful 2 right before that first ending, and I'm going to trace the 2 up on the top of the page with the same color, so that I know second time I jump up to here. If you need to put a colorful arrow following where it goes, please feel free to do that as well. Well, here comes John. We'll let him in. And then you just finish the song, and that's it. So not too hard. Any questions on the roadmap? Pretty self-explanatory on this one. This one is not a very difficult one. This one works pretty well. Now, we also need to talk about that intro that I was talking about. What key is this song written in? This is a tricky one.
A minor.
I have one person saying C. I have one person saying A minor. Okay? Guess what? You're both right. You're both right in this case. Why? Because I tell you, the last chord, 99% of the time, is the key of the song, and that's the intro that you should use. Now, when you have the relative minor at the beginning of the song, now I'm going to show you how to figure that out too. It's real easy. Then you have a choice, and it just depends on how the intro is written. You can start it with the C and see what it sounds like, or you can start it with the A minor and see what that sounds like. And a lot of times, because the first part of the song is in that kind of somber type of a mood, sometimes you want to set up the mood in that minor chord. Now, how do I know that A minor and C are relatives? Well, what actually does that mean by relatives? Okay, a C chord, or C scale, which you don't have to know, but a C scale is the do, re, mi scale, and it's the only major scale that's on all the white keys. Okay? Now, the A minor scale starts on A, but guess what? It's the only minor scale that's on all the white keys. So it's the same notes, just on a different, starting on a different note. Okay? So they're called relative major and minor. How can you figure it out? Well, let's go to the easy play of A minor. How do you make an A minor chord? C and A. The second note of that chord is the C. So the second note of your minor chord is the relative major that normally shows up at the end. All right, so for example, if I had a song that started in D minor, D and F, what would the relative major be?
F.
F, absolutely. See, that's how easy it is. That's how easy it is. So if you ever get a song that starts in the minor and ends in the relative major, now you have a choice. Which intro do I want to start with? The C or the A minor? Most of the time, it will probably be the A minor, just so you can get that mood. But with this jazz waltz, the major actually brings up more of the signature. So if I start with C, that kind of sounds like the song, doesn't it? Yeah. So in this case, a C would probably be the one you would choose. Now, if I chose A minor, that would also sound okay. Ha. Actually, I like that one better in C. It really depends on what the background is going to do for you. If I go back to that modern jazz waltz, if I started in C, that's okay. That's okay. Or you could start it in A minor. Yes. So actually, that one I like the A minor better.
What intro are you using, 1 or 2?
I'm using intro 1, but it doesn't matter. See, this is again, you have your choices. If you've got 2 introductions, now you're going to have 4 choices to make. Do you want it 1? Do you want 2? Do you want it in the major or do you want it in the minor? This is the only case that I can think of with the relative major and minors where you can actually take your pick. And it really depends on what that intro does. Any questions on that? Yeah, this is just, it's not always the last chord. 99% of the time it is. But when you've got the relative minor starting, ooh, then you've got that choice to make. And again, what are you using for your final judge? Your ears. If it doesn't sound right to you, don't do what Daun says. Do what your ears tell you. Always, always let your ears be the final judge of which one you choose. Okay, let's go over some chords. And yes, I am going to add a few chords. The A minor chord is good for the whole line. Woohoo, that's good. The second line, make that F an F major 7, F capital M-A-J 7. If you want, you could just play F, but a major 7 is a jazz chord, and it's so easy. The mathematical formula is the letter, let's take it off the waltz, just put it on easy, the letter minus 1. So it's E and F, and if you look at your window, it'll always tell you that you're on the right one. It's always the letter minus 1, the one right next door. Major 7s are really cool. Line 2, third measure. Make that C a C major 7. A C major 7. Same rules. The letter minus 1. Aha. Oh, but that B now goes outside of the box. So what I'm going to do is take that B and put it up here and play it with my thumb on B. Yes, my thumb on B and my pinky on C. Why? Because 99 times out of 100, C chord goes to F, and there it is, that F chord right next door to it. Now, if you want, you can make that F chord at the end of line 3 an F major 7, which we've already had it once, and it's E and F. There's that pretty jazz chord again. Let's go to the last line, same thing. Make the C a C major 7, C and B, chickens and butterflies, and make the F an F major 7, E and F. So you're just playing some jazz chords. First ending, no changes. That's good. Let's go to the second page. Guess what? Nothing until line 3.
Yay.
Yay! You guys are so funny. Make that F in line 3 and F major 7, E and F. Now, if that's the only chord you learned today, yeah, you're 100% successful. That's good. If you learn one thing, then you're really good. Line 4, third measure. Make the C a C major 7, C and B, chickens and butterflies. At the end of the line, make the F an F major 7, E and F. Let's go down to the last line. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fourth measure, make the F an F major 7. Nothing too terribly hard. Or not, you can just play F and it's going to sound just fine. Okay, now I gave you a few suggestions on rhythms and or music styles. Any waltz is going to be absolutely fine. As far as your sounds, just about anything is going to work. It came up trombone on one. It came up with that George Shearing sound on one. An orchestra is going to sound absolutely fine. But what you're looking for is a waltz that's going to give you a little bit of a bounce. You don't want something too smooth because if you remember, where did this song first come in the movie? It was during the thunderstorm, and she had all the kids gathered onto her bed. And so that's why it starts out in that minor, because she's kind of singing it staccato at them. Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens. And so when you play that, you might want to emulate it by dancing on the keys. Play them a little bit staccato. Not all of them, but you want to, like the E's. You might want to play the E's and the A's. Kind of dance on those keys. Then when you get to the brown paper packages, line 3, now you can smooth it out. Play it the way you sing it. Instead of dancing on those, just kind of play them smooth. Exactly the way you would sing it. Okay. Any waltz will work. On the smaller instruments, waltz full band is absolutely perfect. Those of you that have a Viennese waltz, now that comes up super fast. Slow it down to about 140, and that's going to give you a nice bounce as well. That gives you a whole different flavor, but it bounces. It's kind of nice. And so if you have a Viennese waltz and you always wondered, what am I going to play on that? This is perfect for that. If you have just a basic waltz, guess what? That works too. Basic waltz is absolutely fine. And I'm going to start on line 2. So that bounce, again, is what you're looking for. So any of the waltzes, your easy waltz is also going to work, which is your waltz full band. And yeah, I'm kind of keeping it at 140, but you put it wherever it works for you. As long as it's doing the boom, chuck, chuck, and you're getting that nice bounce, any of your waltzes will work. The smoother ones, if you feel, go ahead.
Daun,
Yes.
does that mean that you can go in and out of different waltzes throughout the song?
You can try it and see what you think. I don't advise it. I think it's better to just stay on one. But
Okay.
if you feel like changing waltzes, I see what you're saying. That could actually work too.
'Cause you
Oh,
had
I
some
was
nice
just trying to
sound.
show the different styles, and that's why I
They all
started at a
sounded
different
good.
way. You
Yeah.
liked it? Okay.
Yeah.
You try it. You can try that. Set up a few different waltzes in a row, and as long as they're going the same tempo, that could work too. That's a
Okay.
good creativity thing. Just, get something a little different. Now, I'm going to just take a look at smooth piano 3/4, or your country waltz is considered a little smoother waltz, or your guitars 3/4 let's do guitars 3/4. That's considered a smoother waltz. Here's the problem. It comes up at 85. So now even if I make it faster, now it sounds a little bit silly almost. But you could do it if it feels right to you. That one's a little harder to hear the bounce. So, use your own judgment. Any waltz is going to work. But use your own judgment as to which one makes you feel like playing the song. And yeah, you'll probably come up with 4 or 5 of them that you go, yeah, these all work. Why not? Because it's fun. Yeah. Okay, let's go over some fingering and then we'll all play together if you wish. A2, E5, E5. B3, A2, A2. And remember, you're kind of just dancing on those keys. E1, A2, A2. B3, A2. A2, E5, E5. B3, A2, A2. E1, A2, A2. B3, A2. Third line, A2, E5, D4, A2, B3, G1, G1, D2, D5, C4, and F1. That keeps your hand within an octave. You've got your lowest finger on a 3, or on an E, and your highest finger is on this E. And then the rest of your fingers are all stretching in between. So your fingers are really starting to learn some of the spreads. How far away are these notes from each other? This is a good exercise for that. The last line is a run of a lot of notes. So you will have to do a thumb tuck someplace. And there's actually 3 or 4 different ways that you can play this. I'm going to give you one of the ways. E1, F2, G3, A1, circle it, that's a thumb tuck. B2, C3, D4, E5, D4, G sharp can either be a 1 or a 2. Because I usually say don't put that thumb on a black key, but if you're stretching down and it doesn't hurt and it fits there fine and it goes there easily, go ahead and do that. All right, you can also, since you're ending up on the end of line 3 on an F1, you could also cross that 2 over and do an E2, put a circle around it, put your thumb right back down on the F, F1, G2, now tuck under the A and continue with A1. Both of those work very well, and there's probably 3 or 4 other ways, but you're going to have to do somewhere a thumb tuck.
Dawn, would you say that one again, please?
Yes. You can do a 2 on the E,
Yeah.
a 1 on the F. So you're just
Okay.
going to cross that. You're on the 1 on the F and the line up. Just cross over that 2 to the E, put your thumb right back on the F. Then the G would be 2. Then you continue with the same numbers. A1 with a circle, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Yes. So try different things and see what works the best for your fingers. All right, let's go to the second ending at the top of the page. D1 with a circle. Now, you have to be aware of that because when you're going up the line, you have to go from this 2 skip up to here, and you got to do a thumb tuck right away. So just make sure that you are aware of that. D1 with a circle, D sharp 2, E3, F4, because we're going a long distance up. So we have to do more than one thumb tuck to get up that high. Now you can put a check mark. We're going to lift your hand and reposition it for when the dog bites. E5, E5, E5. A can be 1 or 2, whichever one's easiest. Second line, D5, D5, D5. G sharp, 1 or 2, whichever one's the easiest for you. C5, 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 E1. Third line, A3, check mark. At the end of that held A, check mark. Now when you start, I simply remember the A quarter note will be a 2. A2, A2, B3, A2, B3, A2, B3. Next line, C4, D5, C4, D5, check mark. Now there's several different ways you can do the whole last thing too. Let's do this. C1, E3, F4, E3, F4. Let's go to the next line, E3 and C1. You could have started with a C2 and then just add 1 to each one of those, and it'll change it up a little bit, whichever's easiest for you. Questions? No? Okay. Hopefully your device is close to your instrument. Put it on easy only. Do not put it on a waltz yet. Do that when class is over, because we're going to be following this waltz that I have here, and I am actually going to slow it down. I'm going to use the jazz waltz, but I'm going to slow it down to about 100. Now maybe I'll have to even slow it down to 90, just so our fingers can catch it. That should be okay. Okay, that's 100 instead of 140, because we're going to take it slow. If you can only do one hand at a time, that's fine. But let's see if we can all play along together, and if you just get the road maps, you're successful. If you just get one major 7 chord, you're successful. If you just get the right hand and it moves well, you're good. So no worries on this. All right, let's try this. I'm going to count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Second line. Third line. First ending. Back to the top. Second line. Third line. Last line. Jump to the second page. How did it feel? Pretty good, huh? This is not that difficult of a song. It's really not. You play it with the right intention. You want to bounce on it. You want to dance on it. And you want to do raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens. You don't want to plod on that. You don't want to be stomping on your raindrops. You don't want the ponies to be stomping. You want to dance on those notes. And then wild geese that fly with the moon on their wings. That's a smooth section. You can use the exact same sound, but it's how you play it with your fingers. And it's all about the intent. And so you're either going to do legato. Legato means long and smooth. Or you're going to be playing staccato, which means you're going to bounce your fingers on the notes. Hear the difference? Even with the same sound, it makes a difference as to what the intent of your fingers is. And again, the best advice I can give you anytime is play it the way you would sing it, and you will be right. Let's do the whole thing one more time. One, two, three. Line three. First ending to the top of the page. Line three. To the top of the page, second ending. Right there at the end, then I don't feel. That's the perfect place to do either a fill-in or one of these. So, please feel free to add those whenever you're on one of those long notes. Use your fill-in, your touch bar, your long pedal if you're on a pedal magic instrument, your kick switch, okay? Always use the fill-in to fill in those long spots, unless your background's doing enough stuff that you're okay with it. Or one of these. That's always fun too, because that's what it's there for. Any questions? No? This is pretty easy song today.
I just have a question about the book, Dawn. I have this on 134. Evidently, you did this because I have some songs that you did at the beginning. So then you must stop this book and gone to 15.
Yep, we did. We stopped the book because I needed a level 3. I had nothing. I had advanced classes, and then I had like beginner classes, and I had nothing that was really in the middle. So yeah. So Robert says, let's do something. Let's put in a little bit easier class. So that's what we did. We combined. I stopped book 134, and I moved all those people, most of you come to a lot of the classes anyway, to Mondays and Wednesdays for the harder sessions. And then this is going to stay a little bit easier. So, people that are just getting started can have a little bit more success.
So basically book 15 is easier than book 134. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it depends on how you teach it.
Oh, okay.
It really depends on how much stuff are you going to put in. Yeah.
Okay. All those extra chords, I know.
Yeah. Now, I'm not going to put in a lot of extra chords in this class, but the major 7s are so easy that it's a good, level 3 is actually a good place to start learning the major 7s, because it's always just the letter minus 1, and it's an easy jazz chord, and it's just an easy learn.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm not going to put in minor 7, flat the 5th, or anything dumb.
No, none of those suts or B flat or whatever they are.
The what?
Dawn, excuse me, I have a question, if I may.
Go ahead, Cheryl.
I don't seem to have jazz waltz on my Rialto.
Oh, I will research that. I do have one in the store right at the moment. And I will research that and,
I just
and
wanna
find
make
where.
sure
Now,
that
I'll tell you how you can find it if you don't know you have it.
Yeah.
Go to your keypad, go to your alphabet, go to the J's, and then don't go to song setup, go to the other one, go to style list.
Done.
And it'll take you right to all your J styles. And then scroll.
There it is.
Aha!
There it is.
All right.
Thank you very much.
That's how you find it. If you don't know,
That is-
if you have one of these registration or backgrounds, one of your music styles, go to your
Ah.
style list. Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
that. I'm lazy. I go there all the time.
Oh, I know, I do too.
It's a lot easier.
It is a lot easier than
My name
trying
isn't
to
Mona.
search. Yeah.
Don,
Thank you very
Yes.
much.
as someone with no music talent, I found Simple Songs, Book 15, as a repertoire for another 50 songs for me that I'm comfortable with.
Oh, nice. Very good. Yeah. Very good, Fred. Thank you. Yeah, this has been a really good book. Now, the next book that we choose, I will keep it easy as well. But I've truly enjoyed using this book for level 3. It's just that since everything here gets taped and it goes on Patreon or YouTube and it's there for anybody to see, once we get to the end of the book, which maybe in June, I don't know. I haven't
If
counted
you're
the
going
songs
from,
that we have left.
if you're going from Conductor Magic to the Black Book to this book to another one like this book, that gives a beginner a real repertoire.
Mm-hmm. I think so. I do think so. Yep. I agree with you. Thank you. Yeah, we'll pick another book when we're done with this. We'll pick another book similar, but we're going to keep it easy. We're going to keep adding a chord or two, learning the roadmap, getting comfortable with fingering, but figuring out what kind of arrangement can I do easily on my instrument. You know, we're not going to do the memorizing of presets like we do in Monday and Wednesday. That's to push you so that you can learn more buttons on your instrument. This is just to take what's there with rhythm presets and style setups and make things easy for you, but get you to start thinking like an arranger. That's what this class is about. You guys are
Right.
awesome. I can't do it without you. That's it.
Ron?
I don't have anything else to teach today. Yes, Sue?
Ron, what's next week's?
Next week is the
Oh.
following song, My Funny Valentine. So if you've got it in a different book, this is another one of those where it starts out with the relative minor and ends with the relative major. Now what I will do is I'll put this sheet and I will also put up My Funny Valentine. I'll have Robert put both of them on Patreon so that you can download this week's, and it's always nice to have next week's already on there so that you can take notes on it. Or not, you can just take notes in the book too. All
Thank you.
right.
I love this song.
Any other questions?
Okay.
Thanks,
No?
Don.
You guys
Thank
are
you.
awesome. Thank you. We'll see you
Thank
all
you
next
very
week.
much.
You.
Have a great
Have a
weekend.
good weekend.